sit down to fast peacefully on Tuesday, which was her birthday. But just holding her in your heart. Yeah. Vincent.
Hello, Isaac.
Hi.
Um, I wanted to ask, um, did you become a vegetarian before enlightenment?
Two things. One is, for me, this idea of enlightenment is actually creates a problem because who you are, you already are. And when it seems like there's somewhere to get to, then you're not here. You're busy trying to get somewhere else. And I have tried so many different diets: vegetarian, vegan, only eating meat, keto. I mean, yeah, it has nothing to do with anything. It's just some people have make it into make it into something.
Um, you don't think that meat feeds the mind?
You know, the Tibetans eat a lot of meat. I'm sure the Dalai Lama eats a lot of meat. So our diet a lot of times is cultural, and certain body types do better with certain foods. So if the interest is to rest with your attention at its source, just resting like that, food is a minor part of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, again, you'll find um, people saying different things. My sense is just to see what's right for you, and don't trust anybody's what people say. That's, people can say anything.
Mm.
Bhakti never had any dietary requirements. Ramana was, from the Indian culture, but like I said, the Tibetans, meat is part of their diet because there's not much else to eat there.
Mm.
And then you look at some of the yogis like Milarepa and some of the other great yogis. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with an honoring and respecting life and being gentle in your heart. Not you can be vegan. And Hitler was a vegetarian. So
Mm.
it's a good question, though. You see for yourself what's right. Samantha,
Hi, Isaac. It's
hi.
been a while.
Hmm.
Just like to connect.
Welcome.
Mm.
It's so amazing. It's like we say something like, I'd like to connect. And then what is it that determines whether we connected or not?
At the
That's going to
moment.
be the mind, yeah. And I don't know if it's a good judge of that.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst judge of it. So it's like it's innocent, of course, it's innocent. But there is no separation. There never has been, and there never can be, as far as I can see.
No, I'm so happy to know that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, absolutely.
it's really moving.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, my mind said for months I'm out of touch with you.
Um, I mean, it's
I
not
don't know.
it's not really possible. It's just like you say, our thinking does that, and then there's a feeling of, yeah, disconnection, maybe hurt, maybe feeling judged, maybe judging, who knows? Those are just passing activities. They don't really mean anything. It's just like
Yeah.
our nature is love. There is no split in who we actually are.
Mm.
And then there's the appearance of
Split. Yeah.
split or upset or disagreement or whatever it is, but disagreement, this is that, it's mental,
Mm.
and agreement is mental. It's
Agreemental.
disagreement, yeah.
Disagreemental. Yeah. Yeah, it is last week I didn't have I was free, so and I am just amazed at the craziness of my system. It gets upset about nothing, but several times this week I experienced total freak out. Yesterday also because of noise of neighbors, and I just can't control that. I just can't control my freaking out. It's
And even to call it yours, because for me, if it was up to you, it wouldn't happen.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So just by seeing that, you can see something's going on that you're not doing. Something's happening automatically and unconsciously. Literally, it means you're not doing it. There's just old information playing, and it's playing within the context of an interest of meeting it, of exploring it. So
yeah, there's no way
the difficulty is when somehow it gets taken personally or identified with, somehow, okay, look, so the system's freaking out. And then you say my system's freaking out. And really that's now it's gone in the direction of identification. So there's this incredible system that's not separate from totality, even for a millisecond, ever. Can't be. And so, like incredibly trillions or billions of cells, I don't even know how many, some of it human, some of it not, all in this delicate dance of balance. And then there's the conditioning and the trauma, which we have no say over. And then habits of it, tension that produces a sense of me that seems to be okay or not okay, or separate or not separate.
And it's a funny process, because the more I'm into now, well, being, the more I know you let it be,
Mhm.
and the more there's things this body mind does that I just, yeah, okay, I have to let it be. It's just get very uncomfortable.
Even let's slow that down a second, if you'd like.
Yeah.
I have to let it be.
Mm.
Who's the I? Who's the I that has to let it be?
Yeah.
Already now there's a construct
Mhm.
and a pressure and an idea basically that's too small. It's trying to fit into that idea that there's a me that has to let it be. It's like, just look at it and transcend it right now. What's there without that?
Yeah, there's just a lot of life, a lot of experience. That's
Exactly.
yeah.
There is only moment by moment by moment. Either something resists
Mm.
or contracts, and a whole set of things happen from that. Chemicals get released in the body, which show up as emotion, which show up as dis-ease, not being at ease, and
Mm.
the tendency to take it personally or identify with it, and then thinking, trying to help us and saying, okay, we're not there yet, we're not enlightened, we've got somewhere to get to. I mean, it's just that's Maya, that sort of obscures this moment of just
Yeah.
See, for me, what I'm speaking isn't a teaching. It's not about getting anywhere. It's not about anything. It's just about a recognition in this moment. That's it, simple.
Mm. Yeah, there's still a little me trying to do its very best to be and be with it all.
Yeah, and then that's what I see. So try and find that little me. What is it?
It's a little child. I think
Yeah, and is it real? Does it actually exist?
it feels precious in a way.
Mhm. When I ask you, does it exist? Does it persist? I mean, is it there all the time, or does it come and go?
It's basically all the time. Yeah, years ago you said to me, you're carrying your patterns very, very close. Well, that came back to me again and again, and it feels like it's always in the background, and I'm aware of it.
Yeah, and then deep sleep happens and it's gone.
Okay, so you tell me, I don't know what happens in deep sleep.
Yeah. So, or in your own experience,
I
you
forget
say it's
everything.
always, you forget everything, but we say it's always in the background. So,
Mm.
that can be an old pattern, a conditioned pattern, or whatever, but what does it have to do with who you actually are?
Nothing tries to keep me safe somehow.
It's all, it's just a mechanism.
Mhm.
It's trying to help. And so at some point, comes into view and take a look, what is it actually? Old thoughts, old feelings, what is it? Does it, and we say it's always there, but
It's related to sadness. It's just when there's sadness around it. Yeah. There's, but real, I don't know what real really means. So
yeah.
it's just, yeah, basically, I just don't know very much, Isaac.
That's actually that's the bottom line. We don't.
Mm,
And that resting as that not knowing, just like letting that not knowing, just okay, yes, don't know. Actually don't know. There's awareness, that much is clear.
mm,
Is there a certain way to be? Don't know. The sense of me, what is that?
mm. Yeah, what comes up now is what is related to this to this little me is just hoping that when you get older you will feel like more secure, like an adult,
Mhm.
and it just never happened. Adulthood
Yeah.
in me never really happened. So I'm amazed. I look
That's-
at other people how adult they look, and of course they have their own story, but I think, wow, I'm 62, I'm not an adult. I don't know what I am really.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that
That's-
you can share it over here, but you can't do it
yeah.
other
And
place.
then just if in this moment now, in that not knowing, it's just like a blank space.
Mhm.
And just what's it like? You just recognize that that blank space is here.
It's comfortable.
Nothing. Yeah, it's relaxing.
Yeah.
No special way to be, no getting anywhere, no hoping.
Mm.
Because hoping is just, again, it's not really being here. It's like your mind is tricking, or when I say your mind, the mind, that capacity to think is
Mm.
tricking us because it projects that someday it'll be better or something like that.
Mm.
But when we just hear and we don't know, all this, it's just like this, we don't know.
Mm.
Okay. Like there's such a habit to put pressure on ourselves to be a certain way, to be what we've been told is the right way, what's good or what's spiritual or anything, you know, just these different ideas that cover that very simple being.
Mm. Yeah, being with people is a challenge, of course. And dealing with
If-
problems is a challenge, and
Yeah, you
just
know,
often
that's
don't
the
know.
thing. That's the thing is, like we say, being with people. But again, it's just like going a little deeper in that exploration. What is it that we call people? Are we talking about the patterns at play? Are we talking about patterns in us that has difficulty with patterns in others? Are there others even?
Well, it's more like the actions that I don't like what they're doing. So
Yeah, exactly. So in that sense, it's a pattern in you. It hasn't been explored fully. Upset with the pattern playing in someone else. What looks like someone else, but ultimately the consciousness, that which is aware. Like you try and that which is aware in you or as you, and that which is aware in me or as me. Where's the beginning and end of that?
no, but I just can't help hoping that my neighbor also knows that. But she identifies me with my body, and so then you get I identified her with noise, and then the whole place starts again. So I better go, but then if it's for hours, then yeah, I like to be home too. So
Yeah.
when I talk to her, I'm calm, but usually when it's noise, I'm not calm, so I don't say much about it. But
Yeah.
it's not pleasant anyway. It's a challenge, and I can also see it breaks me open again. So to see how my patterns of freaking out work well, I or whoever, whatever.
And just taking a moment and saying,
Mhm.
okay, there's a pattern playing. And when we say my pattern, what just happens just in that way of referring to a pattern that's playing?
It's not a, it's a pattern of not trusting others to
Yeah, but
take
just
care of
what
me.
happens when we say that's my pattern, as opposed to it's a pattern?
Yeah, then I feel
Yeah.
small again. So
Exactly.
it's a smallness.
It produces
Also,
it produces a sense of feeling small
yeah.
and an identity.
Mm.
And then the idea that I'm that identity,
Yeah, that goes very fast. Yeah.
very fast,
Yeah.
almost instantaneously.
I'm just so moved that this is seen somehow, that
Mm.
you
Yeah.
or it is seen.
You know, it's just coming back. All we have is this moment, this instant.
Mm.
And one instant just to keep quiet, not to stir the font, not to believe anything,
Mm.
just done nothing. Because that's actual, we can give it that any word we want, but you could say that's surrender. Suddenly there's no one there to be bothered by anything. It's like if feeling bothered comes up, it's like, okay, wow, so amazing. Somehow there's a sense of being bothered here, and it's like, okay, knowing it'll pass, it has nothing to do with me. It's like there can be a projection into the future. How do I try to not be bothered in the future? And all of a sudden we're back in the game.
Yeah. I noticed that I usually, this system usually handles noise for half an hour, and then the freak out starts. Okay, but this is not about the now, this is about time, but this is what I notice.
Yeah. And there again, it's funny because, it's like some parts of the world, like you go to India and there's noise, and then comes nighttime, you think, oh man, maybe it'll get peaceful now, and then they hire these watchmen to walk around, and they have a stick and they walk along the fence, banging the stick along the fence, so this supposedly scare thieves away, but it's like, every time they walk around the block, and it's crazy. And it's first might bother, but after a little while being there, it's just the background noise. I don't know.
I used to live in a place where there was a big clock nearby in Amsterdam. And it seemed to go on also in the night. And when people ask me, oh, doesn't it wake you up? I don't hear it in the night.
Yeah.
So it can go strangely. Yeah.
Yeah. It is, like all it needs is a thought. Like, I don't like this. Suddenly there's an upset.
Yeah.
But that's just a thought. No need to do anything about it. It's simply a thought. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Isaac. Really
Thank
precious.
you. Absolutely.
Isaac?
Yes, is that Christina?
Yeah. Don't think
Cool,
you can see
hi.
the way. Hi.
Yeah, thanks for speaking up. My internet is not the best tonight again, and so I don't see everybody all the time.
Okay.
When I was speaking with Annette, you could relate.
Yeah. How did you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's been crazy this week.
Yeah.
We have neighbours upstairs that the mum can be really horrible to the kids, and it really upsets me and the housemate. And we kind of,
Just slow that down. See, somehow, in that way of speaking, there's a way of outsourcing the upset. That really upset me. Not a thought about that upset me, but that upset me. And there's a big difference.
mm,
I've been living for the last 3 months with my three grandkids. And I tell you, there's times when all three of them are screaming. And the parents are incredible, but there's nothing you can do. Sometimes they're just all screaming. And we go on a car ride, and you're sitting in a small car with three screaming kids. And it's, in some ways, it's just so grateful to have the time with them. It doesn't matter if they're screaming.
mm,
Or I can go, oh, I hate that, shut them up. But I don't. I just, for me, I'm genuinely, wow, how beautiful we're getting to cruise together here. And they're getting to scream and be not rejected for their screaming, just held. And how beautiful. They leave tomorrow, which
mm,
interesting after having a house so full of life.
mm.
And yeah, so we'll see how that is.
Mm. It's the mum that's screaming in this case.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You say it's the mom that's screaming, but it's like, who knows what the circumstances are there, there's some, it's just all you know is that screaming is happening. There's
Mm,
yeah. And so either compassion arises or judgment arises. If judgment arises, certainly then you'll feel terrible and blame her. If compassion arises, there'll just be love.
mm.
So it's beautiful to notice when judgment arises or hurt arises or something. Because if somehow the projection is that there's an outside cause, then we're stuck with it.
Then we what, sorry?
If it projects, like I'm upset because of her screaming, then the only way to be happy this lifetime is to get her to be different. Or to move or something. But it's like when the mind has tricked you into the hell realms.
But it's when this happened last, it like me and the housemate got very stressed, and there was kind of like a little argument between us. And then since then, it's been like we're both playing the victim almost with each other, and it's like,
Yeah, so perfect. And misery loves company.
yeah,
It's just like, if you've ever seen what it's like to raise a kid, and especially if it's a single mom, or I don't know what her circumstances are, even if or her partner's working during the day and she's alone there with the baby, man, it's challenging.
mm,
So yeah, I mean, for me, if the babies are crying, I go and pick one up or see if I can entertain them or see what it is that they need. Usually their needs are very simple. It's like, but it's a willingness to respond to it. That's all. It's like, because they only really have, babies have one signal, which is to cry. And sometimes the crying, when it's in a big baby, what we call an adult, comes out as a scream.
yeah. What Auntie was saying about not feeling adult. She seems
Yeah.
more adult than most adults I meet because at least she recognizes that.
Yeah, so that's the thing, you know, it's just like, okay, here we are. It's actually the same in all of us. It's just like this thinking capacity that obscures our true nature of who we actually are. And we get, you know, some others are getting caught up in the projections of our thinking, which, you know, is confusion, basically. It's just, yeah. And of course, it shows up with emotions which are very loud and pull our attention in the sense that there's something wrong with us and there's something wrong with life. So what does it take to wake up from that nightmare? Because it is a nightmare.
It is, and it's been a nightmare this past week, and I'm not sure how to, because I'm seeing all these thoughts of like with my housemate and like how to be around her and like how do I sit with her when there's this really uncomfortable feeling between us, and I can't leave the thoughts alone, and I don't know how.
Yeah, so you start just with, okay, like there's discomfort here. It's just discomfort here. And what's my interest? My interest is to meet this moment as the beloved. Not here to try and change anybody or change myself or change anything. I'm just here with this simple interest.
I feel like she's trying to
There's
control me.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Almost, you know, there's a story I've told it a few times, which I love it. It's like this. Buddha was cruising around and, you know, he gives these talks to people that come, and came to a city, and this young man heard him and caught on fire and said, wow, you speak truth that just touches me so deeply. I want to travel with you. And so he went to his dad, who was the richest man in town, and accumulated this fortune, and said, Dad, I'm out of here. I'm staying with this man. And Dad was totally upset. You know, I've worked my whole life to pass on this fortune to you, and you're a grateful little shit, you know. And, yeah. You know, and so as the procession was leaving town, he stopped the procession. You know, he was a wealthy man and had a huge sense of himself, and he stood in front of Buddha and he screamed at him for a few hours, all his frustration, everything. When he was done, Buddha just said to him, if somebody gives you a gift and you don't accept it, to whom does the gift belong? And the rich man said, obviously to the giver. And he said, well, I don't accept your anger. And the story goes that the rich man closed up his shop and also went with Buddha. But that's the thing, you know, so it doesn't matter what someone projects. It's like, do you take it or do you say, no, thanks? It's like, no, I'm not interested in that. My interest is meeting the moment as the beloved. Simple.
Do you feel like there's because when I make that kind of choice, it feels like I'm pushing, and that in itself is an effort, like pushing her emotion away or like trying not to be affected by it.
It's not, it's you know, again, it has nothing to do with not being affected by it or not. I mean, if being affected by it happens, then the effect is just rippling through and there's nothing that holds on to that effect. It's like, okay, well, touch something, it's like, but it's not my interest, you know, it's just like, okay. You know, I could say just, there's a Rumi poem that really does it for me, you know, it's like, doesn't matter, even if you've broken your vows 10,000 times, come again and come again and come again. So it doesn't matter. Somehow identification happens. The moment it's seen, leave it. I Otherwise, we give ourselves a hard time for having a hard time, and then it never ends.
Mm.
It's just really stopping. Yes.
It feels a bit frustrating that I can't stop thinking. Like even when we're talking, there's the thoughts just keep going.
Thinking is happening, okay. Then you can focus, there can be a focus on trying to stop thinking, or there can be a focus on who's aware of the thinking. There is awareness of the thinking, otherwise you couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
So now bringing your attention to that awareness, which is aware of the thinking. Leave the thinking. Why
Just
trouble
feels
yourself?
so, it feels so close, like some thoughts feel a bit further away, and this feels like so close.
What's more close, the thinking or that which is aware of?
Yeah, okay. So just keep pulling my attention back no matter how much it.
Doesn't matter how much, I mean, ultimately that's it. Now thinking slow down a little bit.
Mm.
How easy is that?
Yeah.
You speak from the depth. Who are you?
Feels like
Nothing
peace.
is read. Yeah, it's that simple. Trying not to think just makes more thinking.
Mm. It feels safe.
Mm.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, thanks.
Hey Isaac,
Can you
it's me,
say who's
Andrea.
Andrea? Let me just find out. I just have to find your name because my screen hasn't filled up yet. Ah, there, I see. The
Hi.
screen. Hi. Give it a second so I can see you. Ah, no, come on. Let's see.
I wanted to share something, and yeah, as the idea showed up to share it, the heart started pumping, the blood started pumping, the heart started beating. Yeah, but just to leave it simple, life showed up with a new working opportunity, which is really gorgeous, and a natural next step on my journey, on this journey. And this means that I have to quit my actual job, and no one is expecting that, of course, because my life moves quite quick. And as we know, everyone is moving in different realities.
Mhm.
And now on Thursday, I'm gonna have this cancellation talk, or this, that my time there will be finite.
Mm.
And it brings up some stuff, and it's manageable, or it moves through.
Mm.
And somehow it feels it wants to be witnessed, or
Mhm.
because it brings up a lot of remembrance of not behaving as it would have been expected, and then being
Mhm.
punished.
Mm. Such a yeah, I would say such a predominant filter that exists in our culture, yeah, of trying to fit into what is expected or believed or thought. And then when life kind of brings us to the point of having to speak, now life is pulling me in another direction. Wow, it's actually, I would say the basis of really staying alive and true. You're frozen on my screen. I'm not sure if you're hearing me.
I hear you
Okay.
perfectly.
Hmm.
Mm.
And just honor that in you, which is in the life responsive to life's opportunities. It's precious, even though it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's on so many levels what's
Yeah.
going on, because
Yeah.
another part of me notices already that I'm just mirroring this system I'm gonna leave, that many there should attune with their calling, and the whole thing would make a huge shift from victim consciousness to a flourishing business, or not even business, but to a flourishing community.
Yeah. And so, that's really not your business. All you know is that life is pulling you
Yeah,
and you're responding. And now it brings you into contact with these patterns that exist in almost all of us, of not wanting to disappoint, of not wanting to be in the, in the field of rejection, of that somehow we're disappointing, or it's so it's beautiful that there's enough freedom to respond, even though it's uncomfortable.
I almost got the feeling that when wishes, when I allow like wishes to emerge from the inside, it has such a high speed. I mean, right before Christmas, I did this Holy Nights ritual between Christmas and the 6th of January. And one of it was just, in a sense, related to job and money. And boom, like 3 new jobs got offered, and like double income, and like I was like, what? And of course, what is the main thing for me is that staying true to what is alive in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in the end all we have. That capacity to discriminate and to be true to those little movements.
And there was another observation that something was trying to contain the energy again in the body and not to just, yeah, but good to notice, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
The rest is
Thanks. And I can't see a lot of people's pictures, so if you raising your hand and I'm not responding, just speak, and then we'll move from that.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi. Who is
Rishi.
that?
Rishi.
Rishi. Great. Hi, Rishi.
Hi.
Just give it a moment for your picture to come on the screen. I now see it.
Nice. I wanted to share something about Vedanta.
Mhm.
Last meeting, we were talking a bit, or I don't know, just some words about her came to mind, and for some reason they're coming back in this meeting, so I don't know, just felt to put them out.
Hmm.
Just because I was thinking of her, and I remember last meetings, Baha acknowledged that she wasn't in the meeting,
Hmm.
and then I just thought, well, but I feel she is in some way, and when I thought of her, the words that kept coming is that it's not that there is not such a thing as the experience of spirit or soul, but that's on another perspective. That's just consciousness with activity, and then at some point this activity stops, and then there's consciousness without activity. Whether it's with or without activity, that's the same consciousness that everything is, and and that's what I feel. That's what Vedanta is. That's what everyone is, and everything.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that whenever I kind of tune in to her, that's what comes, is this sweet notion that there's just one expression of totality that comes to whatever is trying to reach it, and saying, I'm the expression is transitory, it comes and goes, but its source is what we all are. And we've always been and will ever be.
Mm.
Feels just like two hands touching each other, and it's like, it's the same body. Yeah. There's a lot of love. Thank you.
Swaha's here. Can you see me?
Speak again, who's this?
Hello, Swaha.
Hi. Swaha, good, now I see you.
Cool.
Hmm.
There is some curiosity. How could you know about Vedanta? Was there someone we know, or is it a secret? Or
I just heard that a niece had let Nika know.
Nika? What? Nika? Huh? Don't know if frozen now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, did I?
Yeah, no. Did you say Nika?
Yeah, Nika. That lady with blonde hair. Yeah.
Yes. She was
Yeah.
there.
No. Vedanta's niece
Okay.
let Nika know. And Nika let me know.
Hmm. Before I forget everything, Frankie was going to the bank and sending the money for the retreat. Don't know if you can send me the link, please.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Do that.
It's so nice when nothing happens, when it's like slowing down every mind activity, so to say.
Hmm.
Hmm. And then revealing what's there, what you always say, this is what is always there, then it's revealed. And it is so beautiful. And I hope the same thing happened now to Vedanta, like she's just that. And I'm very glad we that could, I'm very glad for her. Taking off. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hmm.
Thank you, everyone,
Thank you.
for being here.
Isaac?
Yeah. Who's it?
It's Sarah.
Hey, just so.
Can you see me?
Hi. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Just give it a moment.
Can you hear me?
Hi. I hear you. I just don't see you. I hear you perfect, but don't see you.
Okay.
I now see you. Good.
Okay. I was wondering, what is your definition of life?
Of life.
Yes. To say something is alive. I mean aliveness, not life.
Yeah. The funniest definition I've heard is life is a sexually transmitted disease that's terminal. Definition, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I don't think if anyone knows what that life force actually is, yeah.
My doubt is relating to when we define a system as dead and alive, and what we associate it. When is it like finished? Because the movement, the activity is never finished, but the patterns of that system that we associate of that system are ceased, but the movement is not. So
And,
yeah.
it's like somehow we talk about a system as if it's separate from totality, but it's because we don't really have language for this. Like if you want to talk about a finger, can you talk about the fingers being separate from the hand or separate from the body? It's not.
Mm.
And the body is being separate from totality. It's like, it's a way of viewing it, you could say, but is it real? Is it?
So this aliveness is the same as totality.
Seems to be. I mean, where does anything begin and end?
Mm.
Where does one moment begin and another moment end? I mean, it's just.
Mm.
Whatever this great intelligence is, where does it begin then?
It doesn't know time, it feels.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hmm. Thank you, Bettina, for hosting. Thank you, beloveds, for being here. Love, beauty.